Hello there guys and welcome, it is Niran here, and today it's time for me to bring you episode number 5, I do believe, of Season 2, I really apologise if I got that wrong, of FIFA 16 Leicester City Career Mode. Now in today's video we are of course out of the transfer window. We made 3 transfers last time out, signing Wissam Ben Yedder as a replacement for Andre Kramaric from Toulouse, and we also signed 2 young prospect players, Luka Zahovic from Heerenveen in the Eredivisie, and also Shani Tarajai of Grasshopper Zurich in the Swiss League. And now we move on to just playing some games, 3 games per episode now that we are out of the transfer window, but also some added stuff in this one, a squad report, some international stuff as well, some World Cup qualifiers, and also getting back to some training and giving you guys the votes on who to train across various months. In the background you'll have seen the calendar, and also a message from Richie Delat saying he wants to play more games. And he says he wants to be sold in the transfer window, and I don't really know why. I'm fairly sure he's had a part to play in a third of the games we played so far as a right back. He's not our first choice right back, so why he thinks he should be playing more games is beyond me. Nevertheless, you'll have seen the calendar before that and some of the fixtures that we've got to play in the Champions League, and that gave you a bit of a preview into the group that we have waiting for us. I'll show you the whole group draw a little bit later on after the first game of today's episode, but it's not been overly kind to us, let's be honest. Nevertheless, in the background now you're seeing the first of our World Cup qualifying games. We're playing Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, in this simmed game. We've actually won the game 4-0. Raheem Snake Sterling, Wayne Rooney and a brace from Daniel Sturridge completing the scoring in a very, very convincing win. A few youngsters playing in that one like Ryan Bertrand and also John Stones too. Obviously going to qualify for the World Cup, which will happen at the end of Season 3, I do believe. We're in a group with Russia, Poland, Ireland, Scotland and Belgium. So it's going to be quite difficult. Belgium probably will win the group, and then we've got to fight with Russia and Poland for the second qualifying space. As you can see in the second game that we're simming, we are actually playing one of the teams that we might be competing against for that second spot, and it's Poland, and they've taken a 2-0 lead in this game. Lewandowski even, and Krychowiak, the centre defensive mid, he's scored to make it 2-0. Harry Kane got a late reply with just 8 minutes to go, but it was not enough, and we lost the game 2-1. A few changes there, Leighton Baines coming in for Bertrand, Jagielka playing this game, Eric Dyer coming in, Theo Walcott and Harry Kane himself, who would then get on the score sheet, but it wasn't enough to even get us a point. So we do win a game and lose a game in that World Cup qualifying campaign to start things off. Nevertheless, it is now time to get into the first game of today's episode. Now, before we get into this, I do warn you, there's not many highlights to this one. And that's purely because A, it was a bit of a boring game, and B, my footage corrupted slightly. Nevertheless, in the background you can see the starting lineup, all the new signings in the squad in terms of the senior ones, Arnold, Herman and Ben Yedder, all looking for their first goals as well. And in the background, Mbolo has stolen the ball off Marcos Rojo. It's a save from David De Gea, and it has fallen at the head of one of those new signings, Wissam Ben Yedder, despite the screen being massively pixelated and my Elgato screwing me over yet again. Wissam Ben Yedder has got his first goal for Leicester in his third game, his second start for the club, only his second start, and he has got his first goal. Bril Donald Mbolo forcing a save from De Gea. It is a very simple goal for Ben Yedder, probably the easiest he'll score in his entire career, but after just 6 minutes we are ahead in front of United at the King Power Stadium, but it would not last for long, as 3 minutes later Wayne Rooney somehow managed to out-jump Nicholas Nkulu in the box and score a header from a full 9 yards out. Not entirely sure how he managed that and how Nkulu managed to let him manage that. But Wayne Rooney did equalise, and that was how the game would end. The footage, unfortunately, getting the better of me in this one. And it just looked really horrible and pixelated, as you can see in the background. And I didn't really want to show you all the chances. There weren't that many. Sisto forced a good save from De Gea, but apart from that, it was a pretty quiet game. Ended 1-1. We get a point out of that one to go forward to our Barclays Premier League tally. And Maximilian Arnold getting man of the match, despite Ben Yedder actually getting his first goal for the club. Meanwhile, in the background, I'm showing you the first squad report of the season. None of the defenders or goalkeeper going up an overall, but as you can see, Arnold is already 80 overall, having signed for us at 79. Speaking of 79, N'Golo Kante and Mbolo have both gone up to 79. Riyad Mahrez is now up to 77. Jeffrey Schlupp is up to 73, but in worse news, Jamie Vardy, due to his age, is down to 72 from 73, which is really disappointing. Ben Yedder, having only been at the club for a week, has now gone up 1. He's now 79. 79. Drinkwater's gone up 1 to 75 as well. All the youngsters like Makianok, Jonsson, Jensen, Flanagan and Vestergaard have all gone up respectively as well. Olukanmi still the same, Zahovic still the same, having gone up on a few attributes though. Chilwell and Chowdhury making some growth. Gudinho as well, up 1 to 71 despite having only been at the club for a month. Kamano up 1 as well now to 75. So a lot of players going up here, the likes of Mahrez, the likes of Kamano and Mbolo and Ben Yedder and Kante. It's really good to see some growth from some of the younger players and also some of the slightly older players as well. Andy King and Drinkwater going up overalls as well, and also Jeffrey Schlupp too. In the background, meantime, you are seeing the groups for the Champions League, Group A and Group B. You'll have seen, or well, Group A you've seen, Group B you've just seen as well. Group C looks a lot like the group of death: Barcelona, Juventus, Benfica and Ajax. All in that group. That looks absolutely horrible. There is Manchester United's group. You'll have seen Arsenal's group a moment ago, but next up is our group, Group E, and we have got Paris Saint-Germain, Wolfsburg and Lokomotiv Moscow. Now, Lokomotiv Moscow should be the team we get 6 points out of. We've got to assume we're going to get 6 points out of them, even though they might not be an easy team to play. They are the 4th seed. They were in pot 4. Therefore, given who we've got in pot 1 and pot 2, we absolutely have to beat them twice. Wolfsburg aren't the team they were before. They haven't got De Bruyne. We've obviously taken Maximilian Arnold off them. And Paris Saint-Germain, maybe we've got to just hope we can nick a point out of both the games maybe with them. Or at least one of the games and just accept a loss against one. I don't know. We've got to hope, though, we can at least fend off one of Paris Saint-Germain or Wolfsburg. But our job will be made a lot harder by the fact that PSG actually have Luis Suarez. He's signed for them from Barcelona, so that's fantastic. So time to get into the second game of today's episode, arguably the most difficult game of the whole group stage in our Champions League venture, away against the first seed of pot 1, Paris Saint-Germain, at the Parc des Princes. There you can see the team in the background, and Jeffrey Schlupp would actually be getting the first chance of the game, cutting inside there, getting past a few challenges, but blazing the ball over the bar. That would have been a lovely goal, it has to be said. Now Shinji Okazaki playing the ball forward for N'Golo Kante. It's a very bright and positive start here, and with just 10 minutes to go, N'Golo Kante clean through on goal, and the deflection from Marquinhos has taken it past the German goalkeeper Kevin Trapp in the PSG goal, and we lead after just 10 minutes here against all the odds against PSG at their home ground, in their back garden, on their home turf. We have taken the lead thanks to N'Golo Kante despite that massive deflection. 15 minutes later and PSG are starting to take it to us. Good save from Schmeichel. It falls to Lucas Moura. Good save again. It falls to Moura again, and somehow he blazes the ball over the bar from about 5 yards out. Shocking mistake. Also shocking mistake from a PSG defender. But Jamie Vardy is unable to capitalise. Maybe having gone down to 72 now, he's struggling with his finishing. Shinji Okazaki forcing a good save from Kevin Trapp there from a corner, and still in the first half, Maximilian Arnold skipping past the challenge, putting it forward there for Jamie Vardy, and again, he's unable to put it any side of the goalkeeper. It's poor finishing yet again from the Englishman, and not what you would expect, but fantastic finishing from Angel Di Maria as my finger cracks in the background. I hope you didn't hear that, but nevertheless, with just 11 minutes to go, Angel Di Maria has equalised for PSG. You could argue that that horrible miss from Lucas Moura, they could have deserved that that draw in the end, or to be at least on level terms. And Serge Aurier actually forcing a good save there from Kasper Schmeichel, an even better save from Kevin Trapp, putting the ball onto the post from Shinji Okazaki. But now with the final chance of the game, Francois Kamano is cutting inside. He's going to try and play it in for Mbolo. It falls for Kamano again, who puts it into the back of the net. Kamano, but he's offside. He came from an offside position after the shot from Mbolo that was saved by Kevin Trapp. And in the final minute, in injury time, we are denied a win away against PSG. What a story that would have been, but a draw against them is a good result in the end. Away from home against the first seed is a good result. You know, getting a draw is a good result nonetheless. And I'm pretty... If you'd have offered me a draw before that game, I would have taken it. Same with the Manchester United game as well. So 2 games in this episode, 2 pretty decent draws. One in the Barclays Premier League and once in probably the arguably most difficult game of the group stage against PSG in their back garden. Nevertheless, moving on from that draw, we're now getting into some training, and I haven't really been showing you that much in this season so far. I have been doing it, but I haven't really been haven't had time to actually put it into the episodes because of transfers. So now we're at our transfer window, I can officially put it into an episode. As you can see, we are training Maximilian Arnold Riyad Mahrez and mainly Bril Donald Mbono, but for the second slot of training, Fukurate Mazuaku was put in instead. My question of the day for you guys is, would you like me, not would you like me, I'm going to train players, but who would you like me to train? There'll be a straw poll in the description below, and this is not for next episode as it was in Season 1, this will be for the next month. So for the month of October, who would you like me to train? That's 3 players, and I'll leave a straw poll in the description below. The highest 3 will be the 3 that are trained throughout that month instead of just for an episode, because I feel as if that's a longer period of time. It stops me from flitting backwards and forwards to different players and not actually getting much growth out of any of the players. Nevertheless, it's time to get into the final game of today's episode in the Barclays Premier League away against Southampton at the St Mary's Stadium. Kevin Wimmer is back into the action to replace Jarek Riedewald after his injury, and the rest of the team is pretty much unchanged. First chance of the game here coming to N'Golo Kante, and he's taken down by Ryan Bertrand, the man I called up for an England call-up earlier on in this episode, and he's taken down N'Golo Kante. Arguably, that's outside of the area. That looks like outside of the area, but in the comments section, last time I was told to let the person who won the penalty take the penalty. So I'm going against my gut and going with who I feel comfortable with, which is Riyad Mahrez, and N'Golo Kante will step up and take it. And it's been saved by Fraser Forster, and with 20 minutes gone, the player who won the penalty has unfortunately missed the penalty as well. I'm not entirely sure whether I'm going to keep up with that tradition after it getting off to such a bad start. Nevertheless, I will try to anyway. But the 2 Germans that we've signed in the transfer window combining brilliantly, and it should have ended in a goal. Maximilian Arnold with a back heel to Patrick Herman, who blazes the ball wide somehow from such a fantastic position, but his winger partner Riyad Mahrez trying to show him how it's done, and he scores with a fantastic run cut inside in the 37th minute and straight into the top corner. Nothing Fraser Forster can do about that, and in the end the penalty that we missed means absolutely nothing whatsoever, because Riyad Mahrez has taken it into his own hands. The man who would have taken the penalty anyway has scored just 15 minutes later to give us a 1-0 lead here. But we're not settling with 1 goal, and Patrick Herman has had a very bright start to his Leicester City career mode, cutting inside yet again, or his career even, and forcing a fantastic save from Fraser Forster from outside of the area. Unfortunately, the rebound there being played by an offside player, though. Southampton going forward in the second half, trying to score themselves, and Jordi Klasi hits the bar, and we've got away with that one. A big reprieve. Southampton going forward again with Cedric Suarez getting past defenders far too easily, but thankfully Kasper Schmeichel pulls off a fairly easy save. Now Wissam Ben Yedder going forward again, fresh off his first goal for the club, finding Riyad Mahrez, but a good save there from Fraser Forster. Riyad Mahrez, who's been very key in this game so far. Ben Yedder now going forward again. He finds Riyad Mahrez, who then in turn finds Jamie Vardy. Shani Tarajai, the ex-Grasshopper Zurich man, who's making his debut, making an overlapping run. He gets the ball, cuts inside, finds Jamie Vardy, who has his shot blocked, and it falls to Riyad Mahrez, who scores his second goal of the day. Shani Tarajai having a very influential first 10 minutes for the club. He finds Jamie Vardy, the shot is blocked, and then it finds Riyad Mahrez, and a £1 million signing after just 10 minutes of his debut has indirectly had some sort of part in a goal. And in the 90th minute, we get our second goal of the game. Riyad Mahrez gets his second goal of the game and his 4th goal of the season, and his first goal in open play, I do believe. He's had 4 goals this season, but 3 of them have been penalties, and that is actually the last action of the match. We win the game 2-0, and I'm liking the look of my new signings, and they're not even mine. You guys voted for all of them, so I'm liking the look of you guys' signings. Also, Shani Tarajai coming on there with about 15 minutes to go. He had a very good debut, but Riyad Mahrez, unsurprisingly, that's the word I was going for, getting man of the match with both the goals in that game. And here is how the table has been affected by today's episode. A draw and a win in the Barclays Premier League, along with a draw in the Champions League sandwiched in the middle against Paris Saint-Germain. Pretty happy with today's episode. Finding it very difficult to score goals, however, since the patch has been released. I don't know if anyone else is having that. It feels very boring again, does this game. I hope it's not boring to watch. I hope these videos are not boring to watch. I try to make them as entertaining as possible, because the gameplay is usually pretty damn boring, because this game is pretty damn boring again since the patch came out. Nevertheless, we are 6th in the table now, joint with 3rd place Liverpool, so any sort of result in the next episode could see us back in the top 4. As you can see, Fulham, Burnley and Crystal Palace are occupying the relegation places, but nevertheless, hope you have enjoyed today's episode of Career Mode. Feel free to smash the likes button if you did. 100 likes again as always on this series would be massively appreciated, and subscribe if you are new around here as well. Comment about enjoying the video if you enjoyed it that much, and don't forget to vote in the straw poll about which players you would like to see me train in the upcoming month. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed. Hope you've enjoyed the new signings. Going to try and give Tarajai and Zahovic their full debuts, full starting debuts against Liverpool in the Capital One Cup next episode. So we'll have to see how those guys do and how the other youngsters do in general. But nevertheless, have a good day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.